Hello everyone. I think you saw the first introduction video at the earlier. Today I'm going to show you the basics and the simplest way to introduce the geometry nodes. So don't get confused. And if you want to know something any deeply, just ask me in the comment section. So it will be really great. So then start. I think I'm going to divide the screen. I'm going to change this into geometry nodes editor here. Okay. I'm going to show you something in the cube. I'm going to show some changes in the cube. I'm going to press new, and you see something like this wire. And so many of you will really get confused to this and this. This is very simple. This is just input, and this is the output. If I cut the line, you see the cube is gone. If I join the line, it is the input. If I join the input to the output, you see our cube is back. So, okay. Again, I'm gonna press Control. Oh, okay, I'm gonna access the screencast key. Here, you will very clear to understand what I'm typing in here. So, if I press Control and right click on my mouse, if I drag this here, it will cut the line. It's very simple. Again, I'm gonna join this here. You see our cube is back. Okay, now I'm going to introduce uh, a geometry named transform geometry. What is called transform geometry. I'm going to put it like here in between them, input and output. I'm going to put this in between them. So what is this called? What is this thing? This is transform geometry. It will transform your object into anything. You see here scale, rotation. You can also see here so, rotation, scale, move, transform. So if you use, okay, I'm going to go into select. If you use transform transition, you see here, can move the object. The object here is cube. You can rotate in the x-axis. You can rotate in the z-axis, y-axis, in anything. You can scale it. You can scale and y-z-axis. Okay. Transform geometry is to transform your object. Whatever object in your viewport, it will transform it. Simple. Transform geometry, transform. Whatever view in your object, it will transform it. Okay. If and now I'm going to duplicate by pressing Shift D. If I duplicate this transform geometry and press put here, I'm going to join this into output and input. See now here what has happened. Um, if I change this, it's simple. This is the earlier cube that we have transformed. Now I'm going to show you some magic. Okay, I'm going to change this something into like really different something here, here. I'm not going to scale this at very much. Okay, here, here, here. Okay. Again, I'm going to introduce uh, some more geometry. It's a join geometry. I'm going to join here, here, and now I'm going to. Here's this first geometry we put here on the screen here. So I'm going to join it to join geometry. You see, in our screen there is two cube. There are two cube. So what is happening here is just in the. I'm going to explain it into very simple. This is the input, and this is the output. Very simple. This is the input, and this is the output. And this is a join geometry. Join geometry is it join in a simple word. It's join everything into underneath. So if I bring more geometry in here, and if I join this here in here, so it will join to continue. It will join everything. And again, if I shift D and if I connect this into join, okay, here to join geometry, you see, if you join here, you see, in according to this, the third cube will be appear. But why is this not happening? Because we didn't put this thing into the input. If input, if we put this into input, then it will happen in the output. No, that's why. And you see, if I press this into input, and if I join this into join geometry, our third cube didn't appear. Because if I change something here, if you change something here, like this, we'll see our third cube. So this is very simple. This all three geometry represent our three cubes. Okay, and simply, if I if I delete our joint geometry, it will disappear. And if we uh, drag any of the three, these all are our cube. Our input is jointed everything. Our input join everything, our cube. So if we join anything, there are three cubes. One of them is will be appear. Now again, if I want to join, if I wanted to join, okay, I'm going to join the second cube. Uh, and this way, if I join to join this here and put here, our second cube is appear. But what about the first cube? We already joined it earlier, no? So if I do this also, our third cube appear. This is the third cube we make at last. So what about them? What about them? I need three of them, and our output group takes only one line at a time. If I do here, you see one line at a time. If I drag here, you see again one line at a time. So in this situation, we need to combine this three geometry into one thing, and that one thing can goes into the output. So the best solution is to, you can search here to join geometry. Yeah, here, join geometry, you put here. Our first cube is connected to here to join geometry. Now our second cube is also connected to our join geometry, and our third cube is also connected in the join geometry. Now you can see what I said to the earlier, our output geometry only receive one line at a time. I'm going to push it into here. You see here in input, this is the input and this is the output. And this is our three cube. It represents the three geometry, transform geometry. And this all geometry, this all three cubes join into the join geometry, and the join geometry go to the output. This is very simple because our output geometry only takes one line at a time. And if I join this into here, we join into this into here, and this into here, so it doesn't take. So what I need to, it takes, it always will be take, but one thing. It always take the one thing. In this case, if I want this three at a time, if I want three, so I need to put some join geometry. The simplest explanation, join geometry joins everything. Okay. Now I'm going to duplicate more, I guess, here, and I'm going to duplicate here. I'm going to join this thing. I can join many of them in the join geometry. Join geometry can join many things. So I'm going to join here, and it's okay if I'm going to put some like five of them. It's okay, it didn't appear, I know, but if you move something in here, you can see our fourth buddy. Yeah, our fourth buddy. Yeah, here. Again, our fifth buddy. If I move something, yeah, there is. I'm going to scale. Right, but I need to move scale and in the X. Okay. Okay. So here, this five transform geometry represent our five blocks in the viewport. So this is very simple. Now there's a shortcut key. If we select this five geometry, transform geometry, and press H in your number pad, you see this all are shrink. Okay. Now if you press S and here, why I'm doing this is to see properly these things in a simple way. Because if I open this here and open here and open again this here, it will take many space. And in our visual effect, if it really disturbs us. Example. Okay, I'm gonna close this. Okay, I'm gonna here put it here and put this here. Okay, now see this five, or not five, sorry, this thing. This is pretty simple. This is the input. This is the input. It is the output. This all are the our cubes, and it all going to join here and this join into output. Simple input output join and this five cube. And if we do like things like separate. Okay, this is our fifth cube. This is our fourth cube. This is our third cube. This is our fourth cube. This is our fifth cube. You see, now in our viewport, this seems pretty complex. So to avoid these things, what I need to do is select everything, this transform geometry and H to height, and then scale and shrink them together. And G to here. Pretty simple, right? Um, I'm going to teach you something more in here also. If I press any of the geometry, I guess input geometry, if I click here and go to the node, and if I enable the color, you can see you can apply any color into here. I'm going to apply some green, I guess, and light it up. You see, I can apply color in here. I'm going to apply some color in the output. Just here is a node. Node, enable the color, apply anything, light up. Okay. This looks really fancy. So I think I need to introduce something in here. So this here. And again, I'm going to show you something more, like by pressing Shift A, and any geometry. If you want any geometry, you can search from here by pressing Shift A. So I'm going to introduce this layout option. Here, layout, you can see two options available. One is frame and second is redo. If we press in a frame, if we put here, this is the frame. If we select something and if we put it here, if we put it here, 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 you remember in your house, there will be any picture frame with your cousins, with your sibling, with your mom and dad. So this is the same thing. This is the frame, and these are all the pictures. And if you if you want, you can change the color here also in the frame area. So if you change this into something differently, to put like this, lift up. So here, this is the frame thing. Now, okay, now I'm going to combine them into. I'm going to apply some subdivision. Okay, at first I need to apply some subdivision modifier in one of them, every one of them. So if I apply subdivision, you can search from pressing shift, and if you don't want this, you can search from shift A by pressing shift A. You can search. You can hear the search option. You can search subdivision surface modifier here, subdivision surface. If you apply this, you can see everything in here is subdivided. Every cube is subdivided. It is pretty nice. So you can increase the subdivision into like 3 and anything. But okay, yeah, that's pretty good. So uh, I'm going to put this here. And in the thumbnail, you see something like a spider web thing. Spider web thing that thing is covering the entire skull. So how can I make that? I'm going to teach you that. So at first, if I need to cover them I'm going to explain the basics of that thing. At first, if I need to cover them in the web kind of thing, I need something. I need to search here. Search. And again, the second way is Shift A, search. Okay, search here. Uh, like convex, convex hull. Here is the option convex hull. This thing create something like net kind of things. So if I put this here in the output, so oh god, you see the simplified. You remember I said it earlier, very earlier. The output geometry can only takes one thing at a time. It doesn't take two things at a time. You know. So in the if I bring that here. If I bring that here, the subdivision will appear, but I need also the convex hull. But the subdivision is disappeared because output geometry can receive only one thing at a time. Now you can tell me what kind of things I need here to join the both and it will go only one thing at a time. You remember something? You remember this thing, join geometry. Again, I'm going to apply like Shift A pressing search, join geometry. Now, if I do this, you see our cubes by pressing subdivision will appear, they appear, and our convex hull also works here, and also join in here. So we are pretty close to make the thing. Okay, you can play with these things like vertex, area, edge cursors, like edge. Yeah, you can play with these things. So it's all up to you. Okay. Okay. Now what you're gonna do is the source of that. Okay, and I'm going to again I'm going to join these things. Yeah. Oh, you see, if I this thing is the source of that net thing, and you already think that this covering thing, it's covered our cubes, and you will notice that why is this thing here, and where is the cube? If you turn on the toggle X-ray, you see our cubes is underneath of them. You can see our cubes. So if I want, I'm going to turn off the toggle X-ray. If I want to, um, I need to add some curve in here. Okay. Uh, at first, there is two rules to applying curves. If I before I telling the rules, I'm going to explain why I need to curve in here. If I want something like geometry, and if I want something like need to at first I need to convert them into curves. And you know, in Blender, the default value in the render is mesh. In the mesh, we can't apply Blender render. Oh, okay, this is a rhyme. Okay, no. In Blender, if we want something in render area, uh, the thing is, it didn't appear the curve. It didn't show the curve area because curve is not in the default case. So if I want to add some curve, I need to transform them into at first I need to transform them into curve, then curve to mesh. See, everything in here is a mesh. Everything in here is a mesh. So at first, yeah, everything in here is joining the geometry, join geometry, and this the same thing. So if I wanted to turn that thing into curve, I need to search by pressing Shift again, search. Um, I'm going to convert this mesh into curve. So simple, MESH mesh to curve. Here is a geometry mesh to curve. I need to convert that into curve. So rule number one, convert mesh into curve. And rule number two, convert the curve into mesh again. So I'm going to press Shift A, search, I'm going to search what I need to search. I'm going to convert the again. I'm going to convert the curve into mesh. Curve, VE, curve to mesh. Right. What what it is mesh to curve to mesh. I need to put some profile in here. Profile is to some thickness out of here. This is the line. This is a tiny thing line. I need to add some thickness. If I want to add some thickness, I need to add some profile curve. To do that, Shift A, search. I'm going to use curve circle. Curve circle. Okay. If I put this, wow, this is awesome. I like that. Okay, no, this is great, but I don't need this kind of thickness. I want like thin. You can change it from here, like 0.008, I think. I don't know. If I click here outside, you can see there is some thickness in the thin area, but I want it more thick, like 0.010. It appear in the more thickness. So this is good, but something is wrong. What wrong? In the thumbnail, you see it appear in a kind of web. So if I want something in web, okay, at first in this area, then the source of this net material is this. The source of the net material is this. If I add some subdivision here, so it will appear into like Spider-Man web. Shift A, search, subdivision surface. If I add here, you see nothing. There is something like web kind of things. But if you increase that level, like 2 or 3, yeah, it's pretty kind of web. But I think I like it up to 2. And again, you can play with these things also, and you can always access the radius here. Resolution, you can is the same. Resolution is you can see this net. If you uh, see carefully, if I decrease the resolution, it will decrease the density here. Density, not density, it will reduce the subdivide here. If I increase the resolution, it will bring the subdivide more and more and more. Okay, I'm going to keep it like 16. 16 is better. Okay, 16 is better. And here, this is the thing. Um, okay, now, okay, we completed pretty much out of here. So in this today's lesson, I will teach you how to make this thing, and I introduce some of very interesting things like curve concept and the convex hull, joint geometry, and if you see from the view, from the upper view, and it will looks really great and complex out of it, but this is pretty simple. Okay, again, I'm going to put these things into a frame, a whole frame, not the subdivision. I'm going to put these things into a frame. Okay, Shift A, layout, frame, put here. Okay, select this, oh, not the frame. Select this thing, grab, put here. Select the frame here. I'm going to change the color of the frame like this. Okay. Now, what we need to understand something here. What is going on here? Why did uh, why did I put something like here? Okay. So again, I'm going to explain step by step. It's pretty simple. This is the input. This is the output. This is the input of the cube. This is the output of the cube. And we add something in here. Transform the simple cube into like this. Okay. In input, by pressing transformation geometry, we created more 5 cubes at a time. Okay, there is 5 cubes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 transformation geometry is equals to 5 cube. Okay, and all in one they goes into join geometry. In the join geometry join the 5 cubes into depth. Okay, what I need to what is going on here? The thing is it divide into 2 area. This is the division number 1, and so in simple, these are 2 roads. This is the road number 1. This is the road number 2. At road number 1, uh, the subdivision surface modifier represent the subdivision I apply in the cube. The subdivision I apply in the cube, it represent a cube subdivision. So in the road number 1, there is 2 road. Road number 1, road number 2. Road number 1, here is the cube subdivision surface modifier. What this is? Cube subdivision surface modifier. And in the road number 2, here is the net area. I think you see pretty much confused. So don't need to confuse that. You don't need to get confused. This is pretty simple. I'm going to explain to road number two is this the so okay, this is the source of the net. What I say, this is the source of the net. Here is the net, this is the source of the net. Okay, I apply subdivision to add something like subdivide and add some more thickness, add some more geometry. If I didn't apply subdivide, it will like it robotic way, like here. Okay, this is the source of the net. This is the subdivision to apply more complexity in the net, and this area is to apply the net area more density. What is this thing? I at first I need to add curve in here and again curve to mesh. Why I need this two? Why I need this two? If I convert something, okay, in here, in previously, everything is mesh. Okay, everything is mesh. If I convert some mesh into curve, if I render that thing, what is the thing is I transform, it will didn't appear in the render scene. Okay, so if I want what is the transformation? I convert something mesh to curve. If I wanted to see the curve in my render view, I need to do two things. At first is I need to convert mesh to curve, and second, curve to mesh to curve to mesh. So this thing goes in the join geometry. You see join geometry, everything it can join. And here curve circle. Curve circle reduce the you see the density, the thickness. It can be the profile curves. It will show the thickness area, and everything this goes into join geometry and join to output. Remember earlier I said output geometry takes only one thing at a time. So I join this thing into join geometry and then out. So uh, you can apply some transformation geometry in here, both of them, middle of them. Shift A, search. Okay, I'm gonna just transform geometry here. I'm going to transform something like this. Okay, you can play with this thing, like transform the net. Okay, you remember there are two roads. First road it to add subdivision in the cube. Second road it to second road refers to the net. So if whatever things I change here, this is the second number road. Second number road refers to the net. So whatever things I change here, it will appear at the net. I can stretch. I can stretch right here. Oh, okay. I'm going to increase that. Less. Okay. So this is pretty simple. This is the input, this is the output. This thing represent all the cubes, and this cube join in the join geometry. There are two join geometries. In between the two join geometries, there are two roads. Road number one is subdivision in the cube. And road number two is for the net area. In the net area, this is the main source of the net area. We apply some transform to transform the net. Everything like rotation, scale, shift. We apply subdivision to add something more complexity in the net. You see the spider net, it appear more in complexity. So we apply subdivision to saw the things in like a real spider. It subdivide many thing in the net. Okay, and again, if I need to show the net, if I show the net in a proper way, we need to convert the mesh into curve and again curve to mesh. So I bring some simple mesh to curve, curve to mesh. Why I need these two things? If I convert something into a curve in the render scene in Blender, it didn't appear. And if it didn't appear, the transformation didn't appear. If and it doesn't work, so it's really gonna not work something. So I need to convert mesh to curve and again curve to mesh to see the transformation in the rendered area. And this is the curved circle represent the curve profile. What it represents the thickness and resolution. You can increase and decrease the resolution here, and, you can increase and decrease the radius. How thickness if you want. Like if you increase it, it will increase the thickness. If you decrease it, it will decrease the thickness, and it will goes to 0. So what I need to do is 0 point like 0.009. I guess it's pretty good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you for seeing this video. I think it's pretty clear to understand the thing. If you want to know something, rewatch the video. And if you want to know very deeply something, you can ask me in the comment section, anything. So thank you.